I'm Serafina Locke. I'm 34, born into one of Manhattan's most prestigious legal dynasties. I was the child who never made sense to anyone, especially not to my father, Augustus, who believed success came only in tailored suits and courtroom victories, while my brother, Tiberius, climbed the family firm ladder like it was his birthright. I disappeared into code, startups, and ideas that no one in my family ever took seriously. They called me the driftwood daughter, pretty, odd, and aimless. What they didn't know was that I'd just sold my cybersecurity company for $5 billion. And I was about to walk into my parents' home for Christmas, pretending I couldn't afford the cab fare. They thought they were about to save me, but I came to watch them destroy themselves. The car stopped just short of the snow-dusted driveway. I stepped out before the valet could get to the door. One carry-on bag, scuffed at the corners. Oversized wool coat from a Brooklyn thrift shop. No makeup. Hair tucked beneath a knit cap. If I was going to be the family disappointment tonight, I would play the role flawlessly. Locke Manor stood like a sleeping animal. Long, cold, expensive. Lights shimmered behind frosted windows. Classical music bled through the walls, elegant and suffocating. As I walked toward the entrance, my phone vibrated once. Unknown number. No text, just a dot. I rang the bell. The door opened too quickly. "Serafina," my mother breathed, eyes scanning me top to bottom. "You made it." She didn't step forward. No hug. Just a smile sharpened by disappointment. "Wouldn't miss it," I said. Inside, everything was too bright, too gold, too staged. The air smelled like champagne, cedar, and money. "Don't track snow on the rug," Eleanor said, already halfway down the hall. Tiberius appeared near the fireplace. His suit was navy. His jaw was clenched from decades of self-worship. "Well," he said, sipping his scotch, "look what the subway dragged in." Dinner was plated, crystal glasses full. My chair was conveniently 2 seats away from any important conversations. Across the table, Augustus was already onto his third pour. Tiberius just closed a deal with the Fulton Group. 7 figures. Strategic merger. He's restructuring the Locke legacy. "I'm sure the legacy's in great hands," I said flatly. He barely looked up. "And you?" "Still dabbling in bookstores and whatever it is you do." I smiled politely. Still dabbling. They talked like I wasn't there. The wine was bitter. The room was colder than the snow outside. The silver clinked like distant alarms. Midway through Eleanor's monologue on foundation board politics, I caught the tail end of a whispered conversation between Augustus and a man in a tailored overcoat. I didn't recognize him. "The transfer is happening Monday," Augustus said. "Everything moves under Cassandra's name." Quietly. The man nodded. "The trust's in place. No one suspects a thing." "Cassandra." My throat tightened. She'd been dead for 16 years. The ocean didn't return her body. The family buried an empty casket. Now her name was on a trust? My fork slipped. Glass tipped. Water spilled across the tablecloth. "Oh, Serafina," Eleanor snapped. "Must everything be a mess?" Tiberius smirked. "Maybe bookstores don't teach coordination." I muttered an apology, grabbed a napkin, but my mind was racing. After dinner, I slipped away to the hallway and pulled out my phone. The had turned into a message. "Check the attic. Trust folder. You'll know the signature." I moved fast. Up the stairs. Past childhood portraits of perfect Locke children in perfect lighting. In the attic, the cold bit through my sleeves. I pried open an old chest beneath the broken mirror. Inside, a red file folder. Heavy. Legal documents. The Cassandra Locke Irrevocable Trust. I flipped through. Signatures. Transfers. Property deeds, including Locke Manor. The beneficiary field was filled. Cassandra Locke. My hand trembled. She was dead. She was dead. But someone had just claimed her inheritance. And it wasn't me. The attic door creaked shut behind me. My fingers were still numb from the cold metal folder. Cassandra Locke. The name echoed in my head like a drumbeat I couldn't silence. I descended the stairs, quietly, steps practiced like muscle memory. This house taught you to be silent, to not disturb the image. Voices buzzed downstairs. Someone laughed, brittle and forced. Cut scene. The parlor was crowded now. Extended family. Friends of the firm. Old money sipping old wine, smiling with sharp teeth. I stepped into the room. Tiberius noticed first. His glass froze midair. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said, smirking. I smiled. Maybe I did. Augustus was deep in conversation with a tall man in a gray overcoat. His body language shifted when he saw me, like a shield going up. I moved closer. Eavesdropping in this house was survival, not impoliteness. "The biometric handover must be seamless," the man said. Augustus nodded. "She has no idea. She's practically a ward of the state in terms of asset rights." She meant me. They weren't even hiding it. I turned sharply and ran into Eleanor. Her perfume hit first. Powder and steel. "You've been upstairs." Needed a moment. Her eyes narrowed. "You were always curious. That's never served you well, Serafina." "Neither has obedience," I said. She smiled, thin as a blade. "You don't understand how things work." "No," I said, "but I'm learning." Cut scene. Outside, the snow turned sharp. I crossed the backyard, quickly, to the old garden shed, converted years ago into Augustus's trophy archive. Locked. Biometric panel. Retinal scan. I reached into my pocket and pressed my thumb to the small scanner hidden in my bracelet. A soft green flash. The lock clicked open. Inside, blueprints, ledgers, archive contracts. And on the far shelf, a safe. Combination. Old school. My fingers, moved by memory. Cassandra's birthday. My old locker code. The digits in our grandmother's necklace. Click. The safe opened with a reluctant sigh. Inside, a black binder. Labeled in red ink. Sybil, Phase Alpha. I flipped it open. Line after line of back-end protocol. Algorithms. Behavioral data scraping. It wasn't just about wealth. It was about control. The Sybil program was designed to predict human behavior based on digital patterns. Email, GPS spending habits, even sleep cycles. The kind of surveillance system nations dream about and dictators kill for. And the access key? My DNA. My stomach dropped. They weren't just cutting me out. They needed me. Alive, cooperative, and unaware. Behind me, something moved. I turned, fast. Too late. A sharp jab in my neck. Darkness. Cut scene. I came to in a guest bedroom. Dim light. Familiar walls. Tiberius sat by the window. Casual. Watching. "You should stop snooping, Sarah." I tried to sit up. My head swam. "Where's the binder?" He smiled. "Safe again." He stood, walked slowly toward me. "You're making things harder than they need to be. Just sign the damn forms. Say thank you for the inheritance. Let us handle the real work." "I'm not Cassandra," I whispered. He leaned in. "No," he said. "You're just the key she left behind." A buzz. His phone lit up. He glanced at it. Paused. "You should rest. We'll talk again before Monday." He left. The lock clicked. I lay still, heartbeat racing. Every family has secrets. Ours could collapse nations. And someone just activated mine. The lock clicked again. But it wasn't Tiberius this time. Footsteps. Lighter. Hesitant. The door creaked open. A pale face peeked in. Lena, the youngest cousin. Barely 20. Still terrified of Eleanor's rules. "I saw him leave," she whispered. "I figured you might want out." I sat up too fast. Head pounding. Vision slicing sideways. "Where's my phone?" "Gone," she said, stepping inside. But I kept this. She pulled a slim USB from her pocket. You dropped it upstairs. I saw the files. Cassandra, the trust. What is all this? Insurance, I said, standing. Now hand me something with Wi-Fi. Cut scene. We were in the pantry now, hidden between vintage wine racks and spice drawers. Lena's iPad connected slowly. I uploaded the Sybil preview file to a remote, encrypted drive. 6 seconds. Then it vanished. Back up everything that could burn you, I muttered. Because they will. Who? She asked. I stared at her. Everyone in this house. I paused. Except maybe you. Click. The pantry door slammed shut. A voice from the speaker in the ceiling. Miss Locke, you're making this quite dramatic. I'll hush this. He was watching. Always watching. It's time for a little family honesty, he said. Cut scene. The ballroom was dark. Curtains drawn. Spotlights aimed at the center table, where Tiberius stood like a game show host in mourning. Tonight, he said, lifting a glass, we celebrate legacy. Guests clapped. Eleanor's fake laugh echoed. Serafina, Augustus said from behind me. Join us. You've been hiding too long. He nudged me forward. I walked into the light. All eyes on me. I'm just here for dessert, I muttered. Tiberius grinned. Oh, we've saved the best course for last. He turned to the crowd. My sister, he announced, has recently sold a company. One that we, of course, supported for years. Out of love, not profit. Murmurs. Eleanor tilted her head. What a pleasant surprise, dear. Fake. All of it. Of course, Tiberius continued. She's agreed to move the earnings into the family trust. Unified structure. Smart estate planning. I froze. Excuse me. Don't be modest, he said, stepping closer. We've already begun the paperwork. That's theft. No, Augustus said from behind. That's family. I laughed. It was sharp. Ugly. You people buried Cassandra. You forged documents. You're running a surveillance program tied to my DNA. And now you think you're going to steal my sale. Cut scene. Silence. Then, where did you hear that name? Eleanor asked. Her voice cracked. Which one? I asked. Cassandra? Sybil? Or mine? Tiberius stepped forward. You don't know what you're saying. No. I pulled Lena's USB from my sleeve and tossed it onto the table. Plug it in. Show everyone. Nobody moved. Then a voice from the back of the ballroom. I will. Everyone turned. Nolan, my co-founder, in a suit. Calm. Watching. You're not on the guest list, Augustus barked. I'm on every list that matters now, Nolan said. He picked up the USB, plugged it into the ballroom's main projection panel. On screen, a family tree. One branch missing. Cassandra's. Then, a timeline. Real estate acquisitions. Shady shell corporations. Signatures. Mine. Forged. Another click. The Sybil program launching. A warning. Biometric authentication required. S-lock. The crowd gasped. Someone dropped a glass. Tiberius lunged. I moved first. Kneed him in the ribs. He hit the floor, gasping. Augustus stepped back, trying to shout over the chaos. Nolan pulled out a phone. I just sent this to the FDC, DOJ, and 3 national outlets, he said. Merry Christmas. Screams. Chairs scraping. And then red and blue lights outside. Sirens. Footsteps. Federal agents swarmed in. Someone screamed Eleanor's name. Augustus turned toward me. You ungrateful little. I cut him off. No, that. Just smarter than you thought. Cut scene. The last thing I saw before the ballroom flooded with agents. A second USB. Slipped into Nolan's coat. Not mine. His. And suddenly, I wasn't sure who had saved me, or who was about to ruin me. The courtroom, emptied in rush. Flashing lights. Radios chirping. Agents talking in clipped tones. My pulse was a drum in my ears. Nolan stayed a step behind, his suit rumpled, eyes glittering with something between triumph and fear. "We have warrants," one agent said, voice low. "Customs, DOJ, FDC, every division on this." I felt the air thin. "Good," said. "Short. Sharp." The ballroom was already a crime scene. Broken glasses, scattered chairs, elegant dresses smeared with red wine and panic. A man in a dark overcoat slipped through the crowd. Just a blur. Gone before I could register him. I should have seen him, but I didn't. Not yet. The agents hustled Augustus Locke toward a waiting SUV. Handcuffs. Coupe doors. The occasional flash of cameras. Augustus looked small then. Not powerful. Not untouchable. Just old. "Remember," Nolan said beside me, "you don't owe them closure." I didn't answer. I was watching the shadows. Then an envelope slid across the polished floor, right to my feet. I picked it up. Nothing written on the front. Inside, a single photo. Cassandra, smiling. Alive. Not old. Not faded. Not a ghost. Alive. My breath stopped. Behind me, footsteps. Ispun. Agent Marquez with a phone in her hand. "We're pulling digital footprints," she said. "Every email. Every transaction. Every call leading to the trust." She paused. Her eyes flicked to the photo in my hand. "That file, it's untraceable. Like it was never there." I swallowed. Hard. "Who gave you that?" I asked, voice low. She didn't answer. Another agent called her name. She left. I was alone with that damn photo. Cut scene. Back in my old loft. Manhattan. Rain against the windows. Neon blinking like warnings in the dark. Lena was there, trembling, clutching a cup of cold coffee. "You saw it," she whispered. I nodded. "I knew Cassandra wasn't dead," she said. "I found old letters in the archives, but the dates didn't add up. They were too clean, too perfect." Perfect. Like a trap. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text. "I see you found her face." No signature. Just that. I looked at Lena. "We're being watched," I said. She blinked. "Of course," she whispered. "This is the Locks." I stood, walked to the window. Rain poured down, carving tiny rivers along the glass. "Two truths," I said aloud. "One, Cassandra exists. Two, someone wants us to know." Lena flinched at my tone. "Who would do that?" I turned. "Someone who wants me scared. Or cornered. Or both." Cut scene. I dug out an old suitcase, the one I used for business trips. Inside, secure drives, documents, a small biometric key fob. It lit when I pressed it. A blue glow. "This," I said to Lena, "is the reason they need me alive." She backed up. "They just want power," she said. "No, y correcta. They want control." A low hum filled the room. Nolan on speaker. "Sarah," he said, "I found something." His voice was rushed, hidden, like he was shifting in shadows. "I checked the ballroom footage," he continued. "There's a man watching you in 3 different angles." "Who?" I asked. "Unclear, but he's connected to AegisNet's acquisition files, the ones from before the sale." My breath caught. AegisNet. My company. My life's work. "Send me the clips." A ping. Files arrived. 3 clips. Each a different hallway. Each a different angle. Same man. Tall. Overcoat. Breathing slow. Watching. Always watching. I clicked the first video. Slow motion. His face. Shadowed. Then clear. His eyes locked on mine. Recognition. Shup. Then a smile. A slow, calculated grin. My heart slammed. "Nolan," I said. There was a pause. "I'll be right there," he said. I shut the laptop. "We have company," I told Lena. Cut scene. I heard glass break. The back door smashed in. Sirens were far but closing. Footsteps, heavy, confident. Not agents. Not backup. Not friends. Someone who wanted more than secrets. Someone who wanted me. And then a voice, familiar and cold. Your father made quite the mess. I didn't turn, but I knew who it was. They knew my name, and they knew exactly where to find me. This time, the voice said, "You're not walking out." The lights went out. The air went still. I could hear my heart hammer. And then, footsteps in the dark. My phone vibrated against the hardwood floor. 5 missed calls, all from unknown numbers. I answered the first one, breathing, heavy, someone running. Then silence. I hung up. The shadows shifted. Always shadows. Always eyes. Nolan's voice came through my earpiece before I even said his name. "We have a location," he whispered. "Cold. Urgent." A map pin blinking over Cold Spring Harbor. Abandoned biotech lab. "Cassandra's base," he said. No hesitation. No fear. Just facts. I closed my eyes. "Ready," I said. Cut. Outside, the sky was bruised gray, the kind of color that meant rain or violence, sometimes both. The ride north was silent. Nolan didn't speak. Neither did I. The GPS route glowed on the dash like a countdown timer. "Remember," Nolan said after 2 hours, voice clipped. A quote I once heard. "Fear is only proof that the edge exists." I didn't answer. I was picturing the ballroom. The USB. Cassandra's smile on that one photograph. Alive, serene, impossible. We reached the lab. Rusted gates, cracked pavement. Weeds like invaders through concrete. No lights. No signs. Just quiet that felt too intentional. I stepped out. Instinct thrummed in my veins. I saw movement. A figure in an overcoat, back turned, staring at the entrance. Nolan tensed. I didn't need to tell him to be quiet. We already moved that way. Quiet. Ghost-like. Cinematic silence. Inside, the lab was hollow. Broken glass. Floor tiles torn like old skin. The air smelled like metal and static. I drew my phone like a weapon, flashlight on. "To unmask truth," I muttered, "you must first step into the dark." I didn't know if that was wisdom or madness. Static on the speaker. Then a click. A voice. "Come." Serafina lock. Not loud. Not threatening. Just measured. "I thought you'd be smarter." The light snapped on. Blinding white. There she was. Cassandra. Standing perfectly composed in a lab coat, a ghost turned flesh. No fear. No surprise. Just a slow smile that didn't touch her eyes. "Smarter than who?" I asked. "Smarter than the game you think you're playing." Her words were soft but heavy. Like gravity. Cut. She clicked a tablet. Screens flickered to life across the walls. Chats. Lines. Names. Faces. My company. My code. My life's blood. Rebranded into something dark. Sybil 2.0. Behavioral prediction. Population influence. Real-time manipulation. This wasn't corporate espionage. It was a takeover of human autonomy. "You built it," she said. "I perfected it." I stepped forward. "You turned it into tyranny." She didn't flinch. "Control isn't tyranny," she said. "It's stability." Cold logic, like ice on bone. I saw something behind her. A locked pod, biometric cradle hovering under cold steel lights. The sign read access. S-lock. Her gaze flicked there. "You're not just energy," she said. "You are the key." My breath caught. Biometric lock. DNA required. Twist, slow and brutal. "You engineered that requirement," Cassandra said with a bitter twist, thinking it would protect you. Instead, it made you predictable. I stepped back. "You want me to unlock it," I said. She nodded. No violence yet. Just tension, pulled tight like a wire. I reached toward the cradle. Then sirens. Not police. Not agents. A deep vibration. Under the floor. A pulse that made the lights flicker. Cassandra's eyes widened. It's not supposed to. A low rumble. The building shuddered. Explosions? No. Echoes. Deep. Far away. A countdown appeared on every screen. 9 minutes and 59 seconds. 9 minutes. Just like that. We were on a timer. Nolan's voice crackled in my ear. Not a bomb, he said. A lockdown. Remote override. Someone sealing the facility. I felt it in my chest. Pressure. Heat. Isolation. Why would you trap us? Cassandra asked, unease creeping into her voice. I didn't answer. I scanned the screens. Then I saw it, not just Sybil's architecture, but Cassandra's life logs. Dates that didn't line up. Footage from years she was missing. And one name at every point. Augustus Loca. My father. Slow reality like camera shutter. He wasn't just a lawyer. He wasn't just orchestrating trust transfers. He was the architect of this whole nightmare. Cassandra turned to me. You think I wanted this? She asked. Her voice broke just once. But I was your father's experiment. No softness. No denial. Just truth, jagged and raw. Cut. The countdown hit 5 minutes. The floor beneath us shook again. The sirens were closer now, not external. Internal. The vault doors sealed. They weren't locking us in. They were locking everything else out, including rescue. Cassandra backed up. This was supposed to be his legacy, she whispered. Control through obedience. Stability through fear. I looked at the cradle, at my name glowing on the biometric pad. My thumb hovered. The air was electric. My pulse in my ears. I thought of Nolan's words. Fear is only proof that the edge exists. I pressed. Sensors hummed. The pod lit. I looked up. Then my phone pinged. A message. No number. Just text. You're about to make him unstoppable. No signature. No context. Just dread. My thumb on the pad. My breath frozen. And then, a new voice from behind the glass wall. Or you're about to end him. Cassandra's head turned. But we both knew. This was no longer about code. It was never about code. It was about the final betrayal. And someone else was leading the next move. The air was thin at the top of the helipad. Wind scoured the rooftop like it knew our secrets and spat them out. Augustus stood at the edge. Helicopter blades thumped a war drum behind him. No shame. No plea. Just calm. Too calm. I stepped forward. My boots made no sound on steel grating. Windows below reflected flashes, news choppers, cameras, world watching. Behind me, Nolan and Lena. Silent. Ready. Augustus didn't turn. He knew I was there. He'd been waiting. You should have stayed silent, he said. Power, he corrected himself, is only real if you know how to use it. I didn't flinch. I built what you feared, I said. Silence. Then a laugh, low and dry. Your code, he said. My legacy. Legacy isn't what you inherit, I said, voice steady. It's what you choose to do with the power you have. Two truths in my head. Fear doesn't disappear because you're ahead. It follows the brave. He finally turned. Eyes the same steel gray I remembered from childhood, before memory became a battleground. Turn around, Augustus said. Give me the key. No. Why? I asked. So you can rewrite everything again? His briefcase swung in slow rhythm, like a metronome counting down. You don't understand, he said. The world needs structure, order, control. I remembered what Nolan once said in a meeting. Chaos is only a story we haven't written yet. The helicopter hulled behind us, blades slicing wind. Augustus cracked open the briefcase. Inside, a biometric key, the same one I had used to unlock Sybil's cradle, but modified, corrupted, I paused, mind racing. If he got this into the wrong hands, governments, military collusion, it could enslave billions through data prediction, emotional profiling, behavior override. Not code. Chains. I stepped closer. You don't control the future, I said. I do, he said. A drone word overhead, not news. Something darker. Targeting lasers, flicked on. We both saw the red dots. Augustus cursed. I didn't. I smiled. Cut. The helicopter lift was a distraction, bait. The real threat was above. Nolan's voice came over my earbud, steady, calm, cold. They're not just watching, he said. They're aiming. Shadows climbed the walls, silhouettes of armed figures. Not agents. Contractors. Augustus swore again. I didn't waste breath. 2 steps. 1 swift kick. The briefcase dropped. Metal clanged. The key skidded across the steel floor. Laser jumped my boot. 1 wrong move, fire. My chest tightened. I thought of Lena, trembling earlier in the pantry, seeing truth in the fragments of fear and courage. I steadied my breath. A lesson learned long ago. Power without empathy is tyranny in disguise. I kicked the briefcase again toward the edge. It teetered. Augustus lunged. So did I. Collision. His fingers grazed the edge. Mine pushed. The briefcase fell. Plummeted. Steel against night air. Impact unseen but final. I didn't wait. The rooftop erupted. Gunshots. Wind flipped bullets into shrapnel. Lena screamed. Idove. Helicopter blades sliced above us. Chaos embodied. Nolan pulled me down behind a crate. Explosions bloomed to the side. Heat. Noise. Panic. Breathing hard. Siren still, somehow rising. Then silence, brief. Too brief. Augustus staggered toward us. Blood. Hatless. Eyes wild. Not the monster. Human. Fragile. I didn't raise my weapon. I didn't lower it either. He panted. They never cared about legacy, he said. Only control. His voice cracked, old with splintering. I thought about what my friend once said. A true measure of strength isn't dominance, but choosing mercy when it's hardest. I stepped forward. No gun. No fury. Just truth. You taught us how to fear power, I said, but didn't teach us how to use it with heart. He stared. Pain and recognition flickered. Sirens swelled. Agents pouring onto the rooftop. Augustus dropped to his knees. Not surrender, but collapse. I didn't watch. I looked at Nolan and Lena. No more shadows, I said. Lena blinked, raw with terror and hope. Nolan's phone buzzed. World News, broadcast live. Serafina Locke exposes legacy conspiracy. Key destroyed, father in custody. Camera flashes like fireworks. Cinematic. Terrifying. Real. My heart raced, slower now but steady. I turned away. Wind slapped my face. I thought of every dark hallway, every secret file, every betrayal in Locke Manor. Memory was no longer a weapon. It was a lighthouse. Agents approached. Weapons low. I raised my hands, not in surrender, but in peace. The helicopter receded, distant, a dead legacy fading. I stepped down the ladder toward truth. Agent Marquez met my eyes. Contain all data trails, she said. Encrypt and secure rights, I replied. Her brow lifted. Then she didn't flinch. Not at the danger, but at the choice. I walked forward. Lights. Cameras. Reporters shouting questions. My voice cut through the static, measured. This isn't about vengeance. It's about accountability. And humanity is neither code nor crown. A silence followed. Then applause. Not loud. Not celebratory. But real. I walked past it. The city waited. Sunrise. Cold. Honest. Nolan caught up. You did it, he said. No, I replied. We just started. Lena lingered behind, eyes brighter now. Promises born not from fear, but from understanding. I looked up at the skyline. Skyscrapers etched with light. Not chains, but possibility. I remembered another line. A future is built by those brave enough to rewrite the past. And I meant to. The helicopter vanished into morning haze, and I stepped forward, into the life I chose. Not one inherited, one earned.